In the bank section of review, you will see visualizations of your account balance, the number of transactions, and the value of those transactions for each of your bank accounts. You're able to filter the source for either unmatched or unreconciled, and you'll get a quick overview of the balance, the number and value of unmatched or unreconciled transactions, and the days on which the oldest one occurred in each of these columns. You can also navigate to a transaction list by using the Go To button next to the name of the bank account. Under Review, Accounts is the place to review data quality issues relating to specific general ledger accounts. These include potential duplicate accounts and dormancies, and you can also track your suspense accounts, check whether there are any inverted balances, and lastly, inspect whether there is any abnormal activity within certain accounts. This is a very, very rich feature, and this provides you with great insight into the health of your chart of accounts and transactions within those accounts. So let's show you how it works. First tab that we have under accounts is duplicates. Here you will be able to see duplicates of the account name. So anything that comes up more than once, you'll be able to see here. Under dormancies, you'll see accounts that haven't had any transaction in the past 3 months, and it's categorized by type. So here you can have a look at why these accounts haven't yet gotten transactions in the past 90 or so days. Under suspense accounts, you can configure any account to be a suspense account. I have suspense selected, but let's say we turn this into a suspense account as well, and we set our threshold to 1,000, which means if it goes over that, we need to understand what is happening in that account. The Inverse Account tab shows us any anomalous accounts where we're expecting a credit balance, but instead is seeing a debit one. You'll see that it's grouped income, expenses, assets, liabilities, and equity. And depending on what this balance should be for each of these types, we'll flag it when it's in the other direction. Then lastly, variances will help you identify any account movements that deviate from the expected values and for how many months this occurred. So for example, in cupcake sales, we're looking at an average value of $60,000 a month, and we'll flag it if it deviates from the average. So for these 5 months, we had a difference to the average, and we then show you the variance in this column. Transactions within Syft's review tool empowers you to review any transactions in Syft that may be erroneous. We allow you to look at potential duplicate transactions, misclassified transactions, and transactions with unusual timing. And lastly, we give you the ability to review all manual journals and credit notes from your accounting provider. Our transactions section is the final step in ensuring that you have sound data quality in your accounting data. Let's take a look at how it works. The tool is divided into 4 key sections, the first of them being duplicates. Now, duplicate transactions, exactly as the name states, is a screen where you can see all the transactions based upon description and account in Xero that might actually be the same thing. If you know that it's fine, you can click review and all will be well. Under transaction classification, we can see any anomalies where we expect to see debits, but instead we're seeing a credit for a specific transaction. For example, we see 2 debit transactions in this account, but we can also see that there are receivable credit notes, so it should be fine. The Description tab flags all transactions that are different from what we were expecting in the transaction description. For example, if we look at cupcake sales, we'll see it says boxes for attendees to take their frosted cupcakes home. And if we're happy with that, it's completely fine. We just know that it's different from what we generally see in cupcake sales. On the Value tab, we can flag expenses above and assets below specified thresholds to ensure that we allocate correctly. This helps us when we have a lot of low value assets that we might actually expense. The next section we're looking at is timing. Timing will show you all the transactions that were made outside of your business hours, that were backdated or future dated, and it can give you a pretty good idea of when people are posting transactions when they shouldn't be. If it's expected, you can of course ignore it, but it also just helps you to understand where you should start in your investigation. Then the last section is manual transactions. Manual transactions gives you all the manual journals and all the credit notes posted for a specific time period. And you can go see if there's anything that you didn't want posted. Our VAT or GST tool under review helps identify potential errors in your VAT or GST to make sure that you don't over or underclaim on this tax, or maybe incur unnecessary penalties and interest as a result thereof. This tool might not be available in your region, but you'll see that it's split between tax review and tax report. And in tax review, you'll get an overview, and you can also jump into the separate accounts and differences that we're experiencing for each of those. Under tax report, you'll be able to see every single transaction that has a VAT or GST effect. Under review, in our Clarify section, you can engage with your clients or your team to help understand certain transactions. Let's have a look at how you can do that. Firstly, if you haven't raised any requests yet, you are going to navigate to your transaction list. On the transaction list, you will be able to select specific transactions for review, maybe entire accounts, or if I just want to have a look at everything that Cinderella bought that is aligned with cupcake sales, I'm going to select individual transactions. Once I click Clarify, it'll take you through the following flow, where you're able to either attach the transactions to the email in Excel or include the transactions in the email. I'm going to just include them. You can choose a template, whether it be for transaction allocation, ensuring that the tax amounts are correct, asking general information about the transactions, perhaps being in need of source documents for those transactions, or you can email them by starting from scratch. After I select Next, I simply add the individuals you need to be emailed. It gives us a subject line, and it populates this email with all of the information that I selected from the transaction list. After saying send, it'll go to the right people, and I will be able to understand what happened or get my source documents for each of the transactions.